try and do that.
So why do you think they imported this way of life over there?
Well, I think, and I'm just guessing, you know, these folks probably have a much clearer idea than I do, but I think the movies, I think the old Western movies, you know, the old John Wayne and Chill Wills and all of this stuff, I think that's what kind of brought it all together.
What do you think appealed to them about this?
Well, I think the freedom and being able to be who you know, the macho kind of guy that you think you are, being able to be outside.
I think it's part of the John Wayne syndrome, you know, the big macho guy that wants to do what he thinks is right, and freedom, and it's just sort of used to be the old code of the West, I think, and I think I think John Wayne exemplified it as much as anything, and I think that it's carried over to a lot of other places.
What do you think about the idea of East Germans being cowboys?
I don't know. My granddad was in the Army, and when my dad was a boy, they lived in Germany. He said when he was a boy that like Westerns were really popular over there. So I guess they love it for probably all the same reasons that we do.
When you walk down the street and you see somebody in boots and spurs and a hat, like, I know a lot of people, kind of their first impression is like, whoa, that's kind of a badass, like, kind of, you know? I feel the Cowboys really, it's not about what you have or how much it costs, it's just the lifestyle.
But I think freedom is a whole lot of it. Freedom and the fact that they love being outdoors, and that they love horses, they love cattle, they love dogs, and just really appreciate nature as God created it. I think it appeals to everybody. But you know, the Germans as a group are very good horsemen. They have been for generations, you know, particularly in the sport horses, dressage, and English, things of that nature. But to me, Cowboy is the fact that we make our living with horses, and that we work cows every opportunity we have. We do a lot of horse showing where we go and we compete in the cattle events.
I've identified him as someone that has adopted and really adapted the lifestyle of the American Western cowboy to the extent that they can. But I want to find out, you know, growing up around it, what cowboy means.
Good.
So, what's cowboy?
Well, you know, basically, if I was to answer that, I'd say that most people think of a cowboy as a person who lives on a ranch and works cows, or he goes from ranch to ranch working cows, and most of his day is spent horseback, working cows, either driving them, sorting them out, cutting them out, branding, whatever, everything that has to be done with cows during the course of the day. That would be a cowboy.
So what do you think about these guys dressing up like this and all? Do you think they're playing dress up, or they're actually?
I think it's a lifestyle that they want to carry forward.
Oh, like I said, working outside, getting to be out in the sunshine on days like today, and I guess there's kind of a feeling of independence, being able to ride around on a horse and be outdoors.
The way you grow up, you either love animals or you don't have the understanding of them. But I think that the kids that grow up, it seems to me, on farms and ranches, they don't just love animals, they understand life and death. They understand, you know, that this cow, she's having trouble having a calf, and we might lose her. And if we lose her, we're not going to cry, we're not going to go, you know, have a big funeral for or anything, or weep for 10 days. That's part of life.
And I think that self-sufficiency and honesty and loyalty and kind of having to be a hero sometime if you get caught in a spot out on the range.
Well, today we do have some city folks that, you know, have become cowboys. And they've kind of given up, you know, what they were doing in the city and just want to be free. They want to get away from it, which is probably a little bit like what some of the Germans are doing too.
To a working cowboy, that's what being a cowboy is. It's the job. It's the way of life. It's everything that entails. The freedom aspects that you talked about earlier, and then everybody else just wants to be a cowboy. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's understandable for all those same reasons, and that's, you know, you talked about these German cowboys and you know what compels them to try and adopt this lifestyle, and it's that freedom issue, that sense of independence and liberty. You know, living a life that's unchained. It's romance. It's
nature.
Right. You know, and drawing close to that. But and we all want that to some degree. You know, and you know, some of us are able to achieve it at different levels. But really, there's only one cowboy, and that's the guy that wakes up every morning at 4 o'clock, rolls out of bed, saddles up a horse, rides out, brings in the remuda, gets his morning, has breakfast, gets his morning orders, and he's out all morning long. Comes in, eats lunch, gets his afternoon orders, and he's out all afternoon. Comes in, eats dinner, and spends some time in the shop working on something that, on a saddle that needs to be mended, or, I mean, that's what it is. The rest of us, wish we could be in that situation, but it's, for varying reasons, it's just not achievable for most of us.
I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande, and my legs ain't bowed, and my cheeks ain't tan. I'm a cowboy who never rode a cow, never roped a steer, 'cause I don't know how, and I sure ain't aiming to try it now. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. Oh, yeah!